Welcome to Threads. This is a podcast about life unfiltered. Our whole goal and purpose for the podcast is to have conversation about things that matter. In a world that is so full of, 24/7 news banter from both sides of the political spectrum, I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. And it's real hard to have authentic, genuine conversation because you always feel like it's side versus side. And very little conversation happening between the two sides of whatever the issue may be. So at Threads, we are here to combat that. We want to have open, authentic conversations about who we are, what makes us tick, and we want to find out about other people as well. And that's why we bring people like Gabe in. So that's kind of the direction for tonight that we plan on taking. We want this to be a time for us to connect with a friend and in doing so, learn about his life, share about our lives. And the grand purpose here is, again, just to be real, authentic, and unfiltered in our relationships and in how we do life.
So Gabe and I met, probably... Yeah, you're going to have to scoot up to that mic.
When you tried to get me to be a Lyft driver, and I already was, and you don't even remember.
What?
Here's the thing. Jason doesn't remember meeting us.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I was in front of Founders, and you didn't have a beard then. And your hair wasn't...
No.
He's always had a beard.
Like 4 years ago?
Always.
Maybe it wasn't.
Well, not like always, but probably the last decade.
Beard.
It was your Honda Pilot, because you were parked in front of me, and you came out and asked me if I was a driver.
I did?
Yeah.
I'm so jaded now because I'm like so...
Yeah.
You just don't remember things.
And I was like, yeah, I do Lyft. And you're like, well, so why aren't you taking Lyft rides then? And I was like, because I hate how it's set up.
I can't believe how aggressive I was. I don't... like now
pretty common.
Now I wouldn't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
No, I'm just teasing. Okay, so we met in front of Founders.
Yeah.
But then how did it continue after that? Did we just find each other in the group of probably the Uber Lyft group in Grand Rapids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good old Facebook.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember how I met Ben.
You really?
Or yet.
Do we need to go over this again?
Well, I mean, is it? No, we don't.
Okay.
For another time. So yeah, we just kind of became friends, and Gabe and I think alike as far as gig economy. We kind of hate the same people.
Yeah. It's about right. Yeah.
I met somebody in person for the first time that we have talked about often.
On this
Her initials are LC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met her too at the Meijer.
Yeah, she was actually surprisingly sociable in
Yeah.
person.
Who?
Liberty.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've met her in the warehouse. Well, not met her, but I've heard her in the warehouse.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It was a quick interaction. So but
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I was expecting the awkward Liberty that you see on Facebook.
Well, here's my 2 cents on Liberty, and then we'll continue. Liberty used to talk to text, okay? Yes. And her messages are janky. So it makes her look not as smart. It honestly does.
Right.
I mean, I talk to Ben all the time, and I ask him like grammar stuff because I was like, when I type this out, I don't want it to look ghetto.
Like the fifth grader wrote it.
Right.
Second grader.
Did you see any errors on my intro tonight?
I just didn't bother looking.
Okay. I really made sure I didn't.
I mean, on the previous episode,
it was...
you spelled Android wrong.
Yeah, and then I did?
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh. No, that was something different. But anyways, we digress.
We digress often.
So, yeah, so... Let's see. Oh, that static's driving me nuts.
I don't hear it.
It's something with your phone because you moved. Like, turn it off. You don't have to turn it off.
You're telling him to cut off his lifeline.
I know. He's trying to look at comments. That's what he's trying to do. You should bring a laptop.
It's off.
We're talking about him as if he can't hear us.
You should bring a laptop.
I'm right here.
See?
All right. Let's try this. It's gone.
It is gone. I think it is. It sounds.
I think it's the magnet strip on the back of the case.
It could be. It's
that makes
any kind
sense.
of like electrical interference. Sometimes, I mean, even laying a cord on something will throw it.
I think it's this.
It probably
because
is.
When we do the other one, my phone's on here and there's
That's
no
true.
problems.
It could be
Yep.
because I have it over here. So,
Everything's here.
anyways, so that's why we picked Gabe, just because Ben and I know him pretty well, and we've hung out. Well, not really hung out outside of work. Well,
We talk almost every day.
we talk almost every day. Yeah.
We've gotten pizza a few times.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, that's what's so funny about Telegram. And same thing with podcasts. You start knowing people, and you feel like you know them so well, which you kind of do, even though you've never hung out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I consider him a friend. So we're just gonna kind of go down some questions. You got a cool story in regards to like the kids you take care of. And I know little bits and pieces. I hear it from here and there.
yeah.
My
Same.
kids.
But it's I don't know. I feel like we're getting people in here that are doing great things, like Ben with fostering, and you're with your. I mean, would she'd be your ex, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, why don't we just talk about your background a little bit, interests and hobbies, just kind of relax and kind of get into
Who is Gabe?
who is Gabe. So I kind of wanted to, Eric uses who is this person. I'm like, I can't use that as like a title. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean? I'm
sure,
like,
sure.
so I used it as what makes him tick?
There you go.
What makes you tick, Gabe?
People
Mumford
who
and
chew with
Sons.
their mouths open. No.
Yeah, Mumford and Sons for sure.
I love Mumford and Sons.
So what about your work and your family? I mean, where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Okay.
Very conservative family.
Okay.
My grandpa was the head of the family. Everybody tried to please him. And then I moved here 17 years ago to school. Went to Grand Valley. Got a full ride academically. I was a pre-med
Wow.
student.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No way.
I had
Full ride to Grand Valley for academics?
Yeah. I was going to have one for my knee, but I blew my knee out my junior year
I remember you saying that.
for track. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Ruined my whole year.
Yeah.
That knee? Was
Yeah.
it like your senior year of high school?
The end of my junior year.
Oh,
Oh,
man. So you
that's
didn't run at
brutal.
all.
And it didn't
senior
do
year.
anything.
It tore it that bad?
Yeah. I have Osgood-Schlatter's disease. It's where calcium deposits form and your growth plates can't shut all the way. So it makes
Okay.
them uneven. So your kneecap will,
Ugh.
it rolls out.
Does it do it now?
Yeah.
Does it pop back in by itself?
I've had 2 knee surgeries. And the third time they wanted to do a knee realignment and I was 23
Oh,
Mm.
man.
or to do a knee replacement. And I was like, no.
Wow.
Wow.
At
'Cause-
23.
Right. Because you're so active. I didn't want to have it replaced like
Yeah,
every
'cause you're-
5 years.
Yeah, because you're probably like, what is it? Maybe like a month off it, probably after you get that done. So it's
Yeah.
like no work.
Right.
You don't work at a desk, so
No.
it's
No.
not going to work.
So,
Okay, so you go to Grand Valley
Yep.
pre-med, and did you finish?
No.
No.
I worked at the hospital. I was a nursing assistant.
Okay.
And I worked resource because I really like the adrenaline of different things.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I like, gigs.
Right.
I thrive because
different.
It's different all the time.
Yeah, because if you get bored with one, you're like
Right.
focus on something else.
Yeah.
And I get bored real quick. I do. Like if I'm just like, okay, this is boring.
Sure.
I need to be challenged.
Yeah.
And I worked resource so floors could request you if they liked you.
Yeah.
And the problem was the burn unit and the oncology unit requested me all the time.
Oh, man.
And it was the second or third time after having to take a body down to the morgue.
Ooh.
I was like, no, I
Can't
can't
do
do
this.
medicine.
Yeah.
I can't do the death and dying part of medicine. And I wanted to be a pediatrician. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
there's no way. So, junior year, I was like, nope, I'm done. My mom was like, what? And I'm like, so,
I'm sure that's pretty common as
Yeah.
far as being like, I don't want to go into this.
yeah.
man.
Yeah. I joined a sales company, did that for 5 years.
What did you sell?
I worked for Charter,
That's
cable, internet, phone.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that at some point on
Yeah,
Telegram.
I was top 5
Okay.
of 100 plus sales reps. That was good.
Nice.
Good with
Was it
people.
phone sales or in
Yeah.
person?
They would call and, want to set up service. So I didn't call anybody.
Oh,
they
nice.
called me.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially since a lot of those cable companies have the monopoly in that area. So
Yeah.
every time someone moves in, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, gotta call the cable
Yeah.
company.
Yep. So I did that for 5 years and then just wanted to
burned
go
out.
travel. So I joined the airlines and I traveled.
Nice.
Yep. And then I went to Texas because I needed a change. My life was a little chaotic then. And then I came back.
So what made your life chaotic to the point of moving to Texas? That seems a little drastic.
Have you ever been to Texas? It's amazing. I've never been there.
I've never been to Texas. Actually, I have been to Texas, but I don't remember it.
Oh, you're so little.
I was very little.
Okay.
So I was dating. When I moved up here, I chose the school. I had 3 schools that offered me an academic scholarship. I chose Grand Valley because it was closest to the girl that I was dating at the time.
Priorities.
Yep. She was 10 years older than me.
Oh, dang.
She had 2 kids, my son and my daughter. They were 6 and 8. And she's, I call her a serial dater. She can't stay single. She was dating somebody at the time, and because they were there living in the home, they were really jealous of the bond that I had with the kids because biologically they're not mine.
Right. Yeah.
So they felt threatened, and she's like, well, they're here every day. And I'm like, well, I'm not here every day because I want to be with you. Like, so we have a problem with that. And then it kind of was like, well, they're going to make decisions and they're going to do this. And it kind of stripped that from me. And at the time I had messed up my back. I was a little crazy back then. We would hook slides
Back
up.
then.
Yeah. Well, we would hook up slides to quads and snowmobiles. And we would try and launch each other off the slides in the snow. And I had a buddy who went up on the black ice on the road, and he went really fast, and he went to go turn. Well, he hit a patch of black ice. So he wasn't turning, but in a circle right there.
Like a 360.
So
a
that
bunch of them.
slack of line, I started flying towards the quad.
Oh, no.
So I put my feet up to brace myself, and I completely shattered a disc.
Oof.
I had another disc come forward. I was walking around like a football player because I couldn't extend all the way up. So I had back surgery. He did a chop job. My scars are awful on my back from it.
Wow.
I went
This is in Texas or in Michigan?
in here. This is
okay.
everything that happened, why I ended up leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had to go to the pain clinic all the time, 3 to 4 weeks, and get cortisone injections in my back. And then they were very just pushing. They pushed. We have such an opiate problem in Grand Rapids, and I understand why. Because going to the pain clinic, they just push meds at you.
Yeah.
I was on everything. I think the last thing they put me on was methadone
Oh, man.
for pain. I was on it for 3 days, and I literally didn't move from my couch.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
No.
You can't
Yeah.
drive a car. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but
Yeah, I was drooling. I couldn't even talk, and I had a friend. I'm like, you need to take me up there.
Yeah.
We need to grab this bottle. And we walked in, and I said, I'm not on the schedule. You're going to take these.
Yeah.
Count them out. I've only had 3 days worth, but I can't do this.
Yeah.
And the doctor that I was seeing was gone because he believed in quality over quantity, and he didn't believe in pushing meds.
Oh.
So they had a difference, so he left and he started his own clinic that I found out later.
Okay.
Good for him.
Yeah. So, I was monitoring pain. I was drinking a lot. I drank probably a fifth every day.
Dang.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, took the pain away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
But then
kidding.
I would smoke pot.
Yeah.
And then occasionally I would do cocaine because you're on all these downers.
Yeah.
You
Pot.
need an upper.
Yeah.
I had a job.
Whoa.
Right. I had to maintain, So
Cocaine's expensive.
I did some crazy. My sales job that charter. When I got the job, they were like, "You're gonna make dumb money," and I'm like, "What is dumb money?"
Yeah. What's the definition of
Right.
dumb money?
I can tell you, I made a lot of money, and I spent it on dumb stuff because I don't even have anything to show for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
that's the worst
Yeah,
feeling.
that's dumb money.
Yeah.
And so I had that going on. And then you have this person who takes your kids away. And then at that time, it's very personal. I don't talk about it a lot. I opened up. This will be a shock to you, Ben. You don't know. Jason knows. So I'm transgendered. I was struggling a lot with that at the time. So you've got my kids, you've got pain, and then me trying to deal with me.
Yeah.
And I was always unhappy. I could have the perfect relationship. I had kids. I had the great job. I had good friends.
Yeah.
And I was severely depressed.
Yeah.
So I kind of moved. I lost, I didn't have my kids all the time, and I went to Texas.
Wow.
And I started fresh. And then I came back, Gabe. I needed that closure. I needed to close the door. Sorry, my heart's beating. I don't talk about this.
Hey,
it's
I get it.
It's sad too, like, because there's so many people that I can help when I do open up about it.
Absolutely.
And I don't like judgmental people. Not saying that you guys are, but in the world there is, because they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
Well, what does it matter?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Right.
In
It
the
doesn't.
long run.
So I transitioned, had surgery, changed my name in Texas,
Wow.
of all places.
Yeah.
That's
And
an
I will-
interesting place to go.
Right. And that's why when people are always like, Texas people are so concerned, they asked a lot of questions there. Like,
Yeah.
my employer was amazing. They supported me so much in it.
And that was the airlines.
No, I ended up I worked for a pipeline company. So you have these buff, rough guys that you
Right.
you work with, and and they were so welcoming. They were so, that if you had questions, all it was pretty much was questions, like things that they weren't sure of, they weren't educated on, they didn't know, so they would ask.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say I love the people from the South, because they're so nice.
Yeah. So in Texas, where were you when you were going through this? Like what city?
Midland, Odessa. So it's like the plains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights was filmed there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I had surgery in San Antonio. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I don't have any change in my
Right.
level of respect for you.
When I tell certain people, they're just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Well,
When he told me, I about dropped the phone.
yeah. And I told him, because he kept giving me crap about adding him on Facebook, because they were like, "We can't add you, Gabe. Like, why can't we add you?" Him and Cece.
Well, I couldn't even search.
Yeah.
You couldn't even find
But I
him.
found you.
But that was because he added me.
Yeah, and he released the restrictions a
Yeah.
little bit. So
And I was like, "Okay, I got something to tell you before I add you."
Gotcha.
Because occasionally I will share stuff, and I
Yeah.
didn't want it to be like, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
So I was like,
things are starting to make a little bit more sense. You're friends with AJ on Facebook, and I'm friends with AJ.
AJ.
He used to be Amanda,
Okay.
and you guys must have met somewhere along the way, and now it all makes sense.
I used to go out and drink a lot. The LGBT community likes to drink.
okay.
Yeah. I used to go out every night of the week.
Okay.
So yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, we probably have a lot.
Well, remember when we talked with Megan?
Yeah, I was like, how does Megan know this person and
Right,
this person?
because of hairspray at church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends.
Yep.
Yep. And it's not, I don't talk about being transgender just because I'm ashamed of it. I live a very stealth life. I feel like it's part of who I am, but it doesn't define me.
Right.
I want everyone to look at me like, that's Gabe. I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a grandson. I'm a friend.
Yeah.
I'm not the trans guy.
Yeah.
So,
How was that transition for your parents?
my mom didn't have a shock factor with me, is what she told me when I finally came out about it. You got to remember, when I first came out as a lesbian, my mom It was the most awful time. It was her exact words were, "Don't tell anybody else because I can't handle how they're going to react."
That's tough.
Yeah. And coming from a very conservative family,
Sure.
when your cousin is the only gay person you know, and you don't really know anybody else. You don't. And I didn't even out myself. Like, I wrote a poem for a girl that I was dating, and it got published in a little poem book.
Oh,
and
wow.
they sent the letter to my house. Well, the cellophane was over their company, my address, and part of the poem. And so my mom saw it, put the mail on my desk, and it was like those dramatic scenes you see in the movie where everything goes quiet and the door swings open and you hear boom, boom in the room. And I was just like, I'm getting ready for work because I saw it and I'm like, oh, I got to go.
Yeah.
man.
I didn't want to have that talk with her.
Yeah.
And then my cousins have been great. When I finally came out to my mom about it, I called her. I had a meltdown.
Sure.
I had a meltdown and I went to rehab. I got cleaned up. I went and saw my doctor beforehand. And I said, I think that I am transgendered. And I kind of told her why. And she was like, how do you feel right now saying that? And I was like, honestly, like, I can breathe.
Yeah.
Like, I can stand up. And I just started crying.
Wow.
And she was like, it kind of makes sense. Because, like I said, I had the good relationship. I had the great friends. I had money. Anything and everything people want.
Yeah.
And I was never happy.
So when you were going through the transition, you were still like drinking heavily and
No.
Oh, okay.
I got clean. I got sober. I went to AA meetings.
Okay.
I changed my friends. I lost a lot of people that I thought were friends.
Yeah.
But they weren't truly friends. They were just drinking buddies.
Yeah.
You really find out who your friends are when you hit a rough spot.
Right. And you're not doing the things that you used to do with them. Like,
Right.
hey, I can't drink anymore.
Right. Like my best friend, he was so supportive during it because I was in and out of the emergency room because I drank so much. Like, I had a
Wow.
doctor tell me, they're like, if you drink like this, you're not going to live another year. And
Well, that's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, my best friend was like, he never cried, so seeing him cry and break down and be like, hey, you're my best friend. Like, you need to stop.
Yeah. Was that a drinking friend that said that?
No.
Or just a
It
friend?
was my best friend, Jason, who passed away.
Okay.
And that's why, I struggle with his passing because him and I went through a lot of stuff. So yeah, I got clean, sober. I worked for the airlines. I left all my friends, my family, and I just needed a fresh start.
Yeah.
Some people need people that they know to lean on, but I didn't want them because I didn't want the mix up.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to slip up and call me my old name.
Oh, sure.
I wanted a clear.
You did it. I mean, it's amazing that you had the ability to do that, but you did it like such a right way. Like, I'm out of here for, what was it, 5 years?
I was 3 years. I was gone.
But enough to be like, all right, I'm going to do this away from this and then come back.
Yep.
That's
and then
perfect.
I came back and then I got my kids back in my life.
Yeah. Talk about that. I mean,
It was rough.
that's got to be something. So you come back. What's the interaction like with your ex?
So my son, he actually contacted me when I was in Texas.
Okay.
So when I would come up here to visit, him and I would go to lunch.
Okay.
Or we would talk. My daughter and I, we weren't super close at the time.
But fast forward now,
Right.
And the tables have kind of
So when I dated their mom, she didn't have her kids. She sent them to go live with her parents.
Yeah.
She chose a relationship over her kids.
Oh man.
And then when we got together, her mom let Jordan come live with us because she respected me and she liked me, and Jordan and I clicked. Like, this kid, everywhere I went, he followed me. But Morgan, because of the cerebral palsy, the cognitive impairment, her grandma was like, no, she's going to stay here. because she needed structure and stability and the same schedule. And
Yeah.
their mom she could never give that to her.
Sure.
And then she finally did come and live with her mom. And that's when I came back around, and we just, at that time then, she was around more. So I saw her
Okay.
consistently, like I saw my son.
Yeah.
And since then we've just been, close. She struggles. I think our bond is because I explain things to her that nobody's ever taken the time to explain to her.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about, she always thought she just had seizures. And I'm like, well, you have epilepsy, but you also have cerebral palsy. Well, what's that?
So she had no idea.
Right.
So how old was she when she started putting the pieces together with you?
Well, it was when I came back, so it's been 5, almost 6 years.
Okay.
We've, I've steadily been in their life every moment.
Yeah. And how old is she now?
My daughter's 25.
Okay.
My son's 23. So
how did when you came back being a transgender person now, did they know when you were coming back, did they know what to expect, or?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Like, cause my son saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
We had talked about it. His mom kind of explained it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "You're still our parent. You've always been our parent."
Yeah.
So that didn't really change anything.
Okay.
And now, my daughter's like, "You're my dad."
Yeah.
So my son, the same thing. Because, their dad passed away when they were 3 and 5.
Oh, wow.
So I've been steadily in their life,
So
except for
these-
that gap.
Yeah. So these kids, it's just crazy. I mean, coming from the foster and adoptive world, I get it. But it's still painful to think about. I mean, you're growing up, 3 years old, dad dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then they probably bounced around, or I don't know, ended up with grandparents ultimately. And how confusing. That's crazy.
My son, my daughter, it's really weird because my daughter, the cognitive impairment,
Mm-hmm.
she understands, but she doesn't understand to the depth of it. And she's kind of living with me. She's kind of took on it's happened. We can sit here and dwell on it, or we can take it and we can grow from it and move on and make new memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what we work on every day. My son, it's made him very angry. He is mad at life.
Yeah.
But when you talk to him and you get to know it, it always comes back to their mother and the choices that she made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they in therapy for that, or
my daughter is in therapy. I
That's
have her
right.
in
You
therapy.
talked about her
Yep.
therapist.
My son, I just got him to go back and get help.
It's got to be tough because they're adults.
Yeah.
You can't force them into it.
Right. And my son, I can't. My daughter, I'm her guardian.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I was going to ask, are you her legal guardian?
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah, 2 summers ago, her grandmother and I went and we had to have an emergency hearing because their mom was just like, "I want to go live my life."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So she gave up her rights? Or how
They
does that
they
work?
took them from her because
Yeah.
she didn't
Okay.
show up.
Okay.
Like she left. One weekend, she left.
Decided my offspring isn't worth it anymore.
Right.
Wow.
It kind of like that, yeah.
Well, I mean, don't you? I mean, I'm glad that you did meet her and those kids are in your life. But man, I know you told me some of the stories, and you'd just be like, "Oh my gosh, what the?"
Yeah, like those 3 years away from the kids broke my heart.
Yeah,
Those kids are the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I probably wouldn't have went and got sober and cleaned up if it wasn't for them.
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're my life. Like it's funny because people, I don't remember if it was you or somebody else, somebody said to me, maybe it was a writer. I had a writer, we were talking about it because they're always like, "Do you have kids?" And I said, "Yeah,
every
I have
freaking
2.
time.
Yep.
And they're like, "How old are they?" And I'm like,
I know.
25 and 23. And they're like, "You're 25." I'm like, "No, I'm 35." But
It's a long story.
so I explained it a little bit, and one lady goes, "You don't have to say that. They're your kids." And I was like, I know, but then you guys are wondering if I'm making babies at 10 years old. Like, so I kind of have to give a little backstory.
Early.
Right. And my daughter even said it to me the other day. She's like, Dad, you don't have to tell everybody the whole story, right? I'm just your daughter.
That's
like
cute.
she's learning well from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know, kiddo, but everyone thinks I'm like making babies at 10 years old. Like, so I got to explain a little bit,
I even get that when I tell, no, again, they're looking at the back of my head. So I say, yeah, I have a 22-year-old. They're like, what?
Yeah.
A 22-year-old? I'm like, well, I am 43. And they're like, what?
Yeah, I get it a lot with the college girls from
Yeah.
Grand Valley. And I'm like, my kids are older than you guys probably.
Right. Well, I feel like they don't ever look at your face.
Yeah.
It's
They're
true.
just like
Just look at
kind
the back of
the back of your head. Right. Yeah.
So I'm just
I
like,
get that
okay.
too a lot, and not just from passengers, but people in general will
Yeah.
ask me about my kids, and they're like, "So how old are your kids? Like 7 or 8?" I was like, nope, got a 10-year-old and an almost 13-year-old."
Yeah.
But
Well, it's still, I mean, that would make, because you're what, 35?
I am.
So, I mean, it wouldn't, you'd still be in your 20s.
Yeah.
That's not super uncommon.
It's not, but some
So
people
we're the
think
same
it is.
age.
We are
The old
babies,
man.
millennials.
420, 84.
All right, I'm 6'1", 84.
6'1", 84.
I was born on 420.
3'6", 76.
I was born on 420.
Of course, the goody two-shoe
Right,
preacher,
I was born on 420.
preacher over here. I'm 420.
Never smoked any pot
Right.
in
At
my
Cornerstone, we were getting high on Jesus and water.
life. Holy water. I mean, Jesus turned water into wine, so there's that.
That's hilarious. Okay, we kind of got like, woo, off track. Not off track, but I'm trying to, where do we go? What else do we,
So,
Ben's the hero.
yes.
Go.
He's like, I got this.
He does. He's a man.
So you land back in Michigan. You are now male and living as that, living into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
What about your ex's family? What's their response to all of this? I mean, because obviously they have some interest in the kids' lives.
Right.
'Cause you got grandma.
grandparents.
Yep.
So
She just went over there with aunt, uncle, and grandma, right? And that's
Yeah.
on your ex's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do they respond?
I know her grandfather, who I don't really care what he thinks because he didn't step up. He wasn't there.
Right?
He doesn't like the fact that he thinks that she should be with blood. And Morgan and I, we talk a lot about the depth of that family is what you make it. Families are combined. People get adopted, and that doesn't take away from their family. If somebody has, kids that they adopt, those are their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you adopt, their birth certificates change and they list you as the parents on the birth certificate.
I mean, yeah, it's a legally binding document. But I never would have thought of that.
I didn't think about that. No.
Yeah. It's so important to include them in everything in the family, It's hard enough for them to kind of adjust.
Yeah. Like my family is, my mom loves being a grandma.
That's awesome.
Morgan and Jordan are her grandkids.
That's so cool.
She's always looked at them like that. Even when I told her that I was dating, somebody 10 years older that had 2 kids, at first she was like, "What are you thinking? You need to get out of there, run." But it wasn't because of the kids. It was because she did not like their mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
and
see that.
My family is I couldn't ask for a better family. With my transition, being accepting, my cousin, and then the kids, and I'm like sliced liver when my daughter is around with my mom. Like everything is like granddaughter, and
Oh, yes.
I'm just like, what about me? Like
No, they don't care anymore.
Yeah, you came up to Grand Rapids and you're seeing your granddaughter. Like, what about your son?
You know what I do? I go out and deliver Flex, or I go sign on to Uber and let grandma have her fun.
Yeah, like my mom just took my daughter a couple weekends ago. They're the same as me. Family is what you make of it. And
Absolutely.
my cousin's coming up because he loves hanging out with my daughter. It's kind of like having a niece. He spoils her.
Yeah.
Christmas time she came down, and she She's like, I'm really shocked. And I was like, why? She's like, I had such a good time. And like, she's like, I got so much stuff. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter that you got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you got to teach them the value of
right.
it.
But I think she was just more shocked that she had everybody was so welcoming.
Yeah.
My cousins all, like, it was like she was like all of the kids.
Yeah.
And, and that's what I told her. So,
So her, do you know approximately her cognitive level? I mean, it's always like Sully, he's 8, he'll be 9 next. He's probably like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I would guess.
It kind of depends on the subject and what we're talking about. There's some things where I don't want to say like how kind she is and how nice she is, and the things where she is
Like
nicer than an adult, like just generous and kind.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you would expect somebody who is raised with manners and that are older to act.
Yeah. But she is 25.
Right.
I mean, you hopefully you have manners by your time 25.
Well, I would
still
say
working on it, but-
on the spectrum, it goes anywhere from 7, 8 to about 10,
Okay.
11, maybe.
On the good days.
Yeah.
Or
So-
depending on the topic.
Yeah.
On the topic, yeah.
So talk about that a little bit. Like, do you have more good days than bad days with her, or what's it like?
We have a lot of good days now.
Good.
It was rough at first. It was really rough. Just because it was always, why did my mom do this? Why did I do this?
No kidding.
And she just gets herself in this, we call it the black hole. She
Yep.
just sits there and she dwells on it. And I can look at her and I can see the wheels turning. And I'll say, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? Nothing. And I'm like, no, what's wrong? Like,
Yeah, I know you.
I know you.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then it was her moods. Like, I'm just like, what did I wake up to?
Right.
Like, why is she being this way?
I mean, she is a girl too. I mean,
That's
Right.
true.
And then she's like, Dad, I have my friend, okay? And I was like, okay, we're okay. We're good.
we're good.
We're good. And I'm like,
You need some chocolate?
yeah. I'm like, I'll go to the store and I'll bring her back like a chocolate candy bar or a chocolate frosty. I'm like, I know it's about that time.
Yeah.
We don't got to
Here's
talk
some
graham
about
crackers
it.
and
Yeah.
some chocolate.
I'm like, we don't got to talk about it. And she'll laugh. Because even though I'm trans,
Mm-hmm.
that talking about all of that stuff always made me uncomfortable.
Oh, I can imagine.
And so when you have a daughter that's living with you and you have to go through that stuff, I'm like, Mom, I need some help here. Like, can you help her with this? Because it just makes me feel awkward and uncomfortable.
Sure.
Well, yeah, because you're a man now.
Right.
Why would you be like, yeah, it's cool? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right. Like, I'm sitting there and I went to the funniest thing happened. I think, and she could tell at that time something changed. The dynamic changed in the house. Like she was on antibiotics. Antibiotics worked too well. She needed something to take care of an infection. So I'm at the store and I'm like looking at like the aisle and I'm like, what do I do? I'm just having this moment and all these ladies are walking down the aisle and they're like, can we help you? And I'm like, my daughter, she can't use this. So I need something like, is there an ointment or a cream and they're like, and so then another lady walks up and I've got 3 ladies in Meyer in the aisle.
They're going to take care of you.
Is this at
helping
Meyer?
me. Yeah.
Awesome.
And so finally they're like, maybe we should ask the pharmacist. Well, it's a guy standing there. So I'm just like,
Well, that's even like he probably knows, but it's still that makes it a different level.
Right.
Like,
it's
so-
awkward for him then.
so we go, and I walk up and I explain it and he's like, all right. So he's going through and I'm just sitting here like, oh, I feel so gross right now.
yeah.
And he explains it. He's like, well, you can have a 3-day, a 5-day, or you can pay for a 1-day and really try to explain it to her. And I'm just like, okay. So I was bound and determined. I'm like, all right, we got to take care of this. It's on me. I'm the only one. I got to do this. So I came home. I took a mirror that we had. I brought it in the room. I gave her the stuff and I was like, look, I pulled out my phone and I was like, found the most like kid friendly
Oh, man.
diagram. And I'm like, all right, look, this is where you have to go. I'm going to walk out, shut the door, do your best,
Right.
and let me know. And if not, then I'm going to have to call my mom. Like, grandma's going to have to come help me, or one of my friends, it's a girl. Somebody will have to come here and help because I can't. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I like walk out, and all of a sudden I just hear, Dad,
Uh-oh.
I think we're good. And I'm like, okay.
The relief, I can feel it.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And at that point, I think she could tell that I was really trying my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, like, the mood swings stopped. Occasionally they come back, but it's more so she's trying to work it out. Like, her therapist explained it to me is that she's in a good place. She's safe.
Mm-hmm.
She knows she's safe. She knows you're doing, she has you. And now she's going to try and work in her head everything that happened. So occasionally she'll have these moods where she's just like, and she gets really quiet, and it affects, like, I want to have fun and I joke with her and laugh. And she's kind of just like,
not into it.
Totally understand that. Miracle does the same thing.
Right.
For her black hole most recently was her bed, and she got lost in her black hole, and she's just sobbing and crying and convulsing on her bed. She won't sleep in her bed anymore because it's a black hole.
Right.
So she has a futon in her room that she lowers at night, and she sleeps on the futon.
Yeah.
Even though she's got like an amazing mattress, it's a purple mattress.
Right.
And she's choosing to sleep on this futon.
Oh, you mean Purple the brand?
Yeah.
I was like, Purple? That's why I kind of chuckled. I was like, oh, wait, I think that's a brand.
Yeah. Somebody gave it to us just as they're like, we really believe in what your family's doing with adoption, and we had this and just wanted to give it to you.
Right.
And so Miracle's got this super expensive mattress that has turned into a black hole, and it's just too hard for her to sleep on it. So she sleeps on her futon.
Yeah, my daughter, it's going and having fun, like getting her to go to her grandma's. Like, she's so excited.
This time out, she's online right now.
Who?
She's Morgan.
Oh, she's, you know what?
You
her,
cool?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
cool. She'll be so excited. I'm going to go to my grandma and my uncle's. And then it comes to like 2 days before, and she just falls apart, and she doesn't want to go. And it's usually like, can I come back home? And I'm like, why couldn't you come back home?
Yeah.
This is your home.
Yeah.
Like, she has this big fear if she goes anywhere, she's not going to be able to come back home.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
Because that when her mom left, she
for sure.
was gone.
Yeah.
She was at a friend's house, and she came back, and her home was, the aspect of home was demolished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. So that's her black hole, is getting her to go. But she went to my mom's fine, and I asked her, I said, why, you went there? Well, that's different. And I'm like, why?
Well, different people probably have.
Well, she's like, because I know I'm coming home. Grandma would bring me back here. So she's so afraid because I'm not. I think she's been taught so many times, like, by comments that people have made in her life, like, Gabe's not your dad. Gabe. And we've had a big talk about it. I've taught her, kids, people can say whatever they want. Kids, adults will say whatever they want.
Yeah.
How their opinion on it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone else has said about it. It's what you feel.
Right.
So if somebody says that, at the end of the day, how do you feel? You're my dad. Then that's all that matters. You don't got to explain it to anybody. You don't have to talk about it. It's like you listen to what they say. It goes in one ear, goes out the other.
Yeah.
And so, but her grandma and I, she actually said, she goes, thank you. I truly appreciate everything you're doing for her.
That's gotta mean a lot.
Because, her appointments I'm taking her to.
The ex's grandma or
Mom.
Ex's mom.
Yeah. She told me, she's like, I really appreciate, because I'm getting her back into school. She has one more year. And I'm like, I'm 1 block out of Northview School District, which means she has to go to Union. And I'm like, no. And I'm trying to set it up, and they're like, you'll just come in, get her registered, bring her the first day of school, and then we'll slowly get her transitioned over. I'm like, I'm not leaving her here. And the lady's like, what do you mean? I go, bring her in with me. And when I walk out the door, she's coming back with me. Like, I'm not going to leave her at Union High School.
Yeah.
and I was so dead set, and I'm like researching other programs. I'm looking at different things, and her grandma was like, thank you. Like, and it was nice to hear that. And she even said something to Morgan about, he's doing a good job with you. So
Wow.
it's nice to hear that, because I don't get that.
How does X's mom? What does she say about her daughter? I mean, is she like? How is grandma like?
I think she's.
I mean, say what you're comfortable saying. I mean, I just wonder. You always wonder when you have a kid that's just kind of a screw up. You're like, what's the mom like? What was that like?
I think she is. She's very sad and hurt that her daughter's not responsible. She feels bad for her grandkids.
Yeah.
I think she's, you have this hope that they're going to change, that one day they're going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to all click, and they're going to clean up, and they're going to get their act together. And it hasn't happened. And and her and I will talk, and we're just like, it's never going to change. It's the same stuff. And I try not to talk about it a lot, because I know that it gets Morgan
Upset.
But but they can talk about it, because that's her daughter, that's her mom. I should say bio mom, because Morgan doesn't like that I call her mom.
Yeah.
She's that angry. She's to that point.
Yeah.
So, they do their own thing. They have their own life. And 2 years ago, it was complete. We were all angry. We're all angry, It went from me having the kids on the weekends to my whole life's changing.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then, last year she moved in with me, and my wife and I separated. My son moved to Saginaw. Is that me?
Yeah,
I thought Oh, it's my watch. Sorry.
Oh.
I was like, I
Someone's
muted.
calling you.
It sounded like the wash machine or something.
No,
beeping.
it's Sam.
Oh, come on,
It's
Sam.
only Sam and John blowing up my phone.
We just did it again.
I know. We haven't done that in a while.
That's true.
There, I'll turn it off. I don't even know what I was saying, because I'm like, zzz, zzz, zzz.
Where were you at? We were talking about the ex.
Oh yeah, I was going through a separation,
Yeah.
and then
Was that last fall?
that was last spring. We separated.
Because I remember November being a date that it was finally done.
She moved out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that just in 18?
Yeah.
Wow.
She
It
moved
feels like a
out.
lot longer ago.
Yeah. So I had my son moved to Saginaw. My son had him and his girlfriend at the time had a baby. So I have a granddaughter. My son's moved across the state. My daughter's moving in with me, and then my wife and I are separated. And it was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to handle.
I think there was I thought I was going to break down. I was going to lose it.
Mm.
And then I kind of reminded myself, you're only given what you can handle. It makes you stronger. You can get through this. A lot of phone calls to my mom.
Yeah.
Me
So
and my
good that
mom,
she's that resource for you.
which is great. We weren't close when I was growing up, my mom and I.
Wow.
Like, it got to a point where I was so angry with her because she worked all the time. She was a
Okay.
single parent.
Yeah.
And then when I went to rehab, everything changed. Our dynamic changed.
Mm.
And I told her, I don't want anything to happen to you or something to happen to me, and I hate you.
Yeah.
And then, she came up and she saw me in this state. I'm drugged up. I'm going through withdrawals. They had me on so much stuff. Like, I was slumped over. I couldn't even sit up. And she was there every day to visit me. She took care of stuff while I was in there.
Wow.
And now I'll call her. I'm like, Mom, I'm so stressed out. Like, what do I do? Like, I need advice.
Yeah.
Like, help me. So it's nice to have that.
How long were you in your rehab for?
I was in there for 3 weeks,
Okay.
sobering up. It
Is
was
that hell?
it had its moments. The first day, I didn't really care because I chose to go. Well, my doctor was like, you can go on your own, or I can make,
I'll
you,
make
go.
you go.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll go on my own. Let me go home and pack a bag.
Yeah.
So I went home, made a drink.
Well, I mean,
Made a drink. I did some other
I've done the
stuff.
same thing.
And then I was like, all right, I'm good to go. So the first day, I was out of my mind. I had no clue
Yeah.
what was really going on. And then the third day, every second or third day, it kicked in, not having the stuff that I had to get me through the day.
Yeah.
Like I was in a class and I just got up and they're like, hey, you can't. And I was like, and I walked out of the room and they found me in the doorway.
My name is Mirka, my name is Ben, and if you like Threads, then pull out a pen. Write a review, and then click send, and if you don't like Threads, then we can't be friends. This is Miracle reporting to you live. Out! Threads Podcast. Life of Filter.
And they found me in the doorway, you know, because you had your own bathroom, and I was on the ground having a seizure because I was going through withdrawals.
Yeah.
You know, so when I woke up, I'm strapped to, you know, I'm on this bed. I'm like, what's going on? And then I had the freak out moment when I was looking at the paperwork where they put why you're there, what they sent to my job, and they listed everything. And I'm just like, do I even have a job after this?
Yeah, like there goes that.
But my job was really cool, charter. I came back and they were like, I think it's like Michigan law at the time is if you were seeking help and you were getting help, as long as I came back and I performed and I didn't relapse,
Yeah.
then I got to keep my job.
Okay.
Wow.
They give you one chance.
Yep.
Okay.
And so
I did not know that.
I was freaking out though, because I was just like, oh, what am I going to do now? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have my kids.
That'd be so weird.
You know, I'm not making money, and then I'm going to get out and lose my job. I'm losing my
here's
friends.
a good start.
Right.
You're not addicted to alcohol anymore, but hey.
You are starting from scratch.
Yeah,
It was-
no job.
It was nice, like earlier when I said I'm a recovering Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
I joke about it because when I was little, I went to church all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
And then when I came out, you know, people were like, you're going to hell. And so I lost
Did
that.
anybody actually say that to you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
I lost that connection. And I was like, you know, there is no God. There is none of this.
Yeah.
And then going through rehab and then going to AA, you know, I got stuck on the first step all the time because of my lack of faith.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they were like, okay, let's look at it this way. How many times did you drive home impaired? And I was like, more than I can count on my feet and my hands, like
Yeah.
every night.
Right.
And they were like, how do you think you got home okay? And I'm like, they're like, somebody made sure you got home.
Right.
And so I started looking at that and I'm like, okay, a higher power. So that's how I got my connection back. So I'm not super religious, but I do believe, you know, there is a higher power. That somebody is up there.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially living in West Michigan, even though most of the state is liberal. If you look at the voting and stuff like that, West Michigan is not.
We are a bubble.
And it's got to be tough. Like, I can't imagine you like trying to go to find a church that. Now there are more and more like that. I mean, the church we go to, I would dare say would be. It's kind of like whatever.
Right.
Like, come on in. You know what I mean? Which that's how it should be anyways. Like, whatever. If you have your own qualms about it, you can, you know, I'm sure in every church there would be people that would be like, that's not for me, but we love you just the same, you know? But that's how a church should be though. I mean, do you feel like your church is like that or not?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's a few that I went out. There's one on Cascade. I can't remember the name of it, but they were very, very LGBT friendly.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed it. And that was what I was going there. And then with AA and then working with, you know, my sponsor, I kind of got back into believing there was something.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's why I always say, you know, God only gives you what you can handle, what he knows. You know, so it was a hard thing for me to get clean and sober at first because I struggled with that. But I worked my way through it. And then once I got through that, it was like a piece of cake. And not saying that was a piece of cake, but it went very smoothly to be able to work the other steps once you had that foundation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's weird. You know, obviously I have faith, but I I think a lot of people don't do the AA thing because of that.
Yeah.
You know, I wish they would just be like, all right, it's cool. Well, I mean, can we say that the higher power could be anything else? Like, could it be, I don't know, another God? Does it have to be?
Well, and that's what helped me, because somebody did say that.
Okay.
You know, they were like, it doesn't have to be, you know, my version. It could be your version or your thought of. So I would say I tend to be more spiritual because of that. But that's what helped me, though, is to do that, because somebody said that to me, like, okay. You know, somebody made sure you got home.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoever it be.
Yeah.
Somebody was looking out for you. So.
Well, that's cool. So, random thought popped in my head. Are you ever out in public and you hear people? I mean, people don't say like fag anymore and that kind of, but like when I grew up, we would say that all the time, but it wasn't derogatory. Like that's just what it is what it is.
Right.
Obviously I don't say it now, but are you ever around? Because I mean, obviously I knew you as Gabe, like that's why I was shocked when you told me, and same with Ben. So I'm sure with people around you are like, yeah, that's a dude. But do you ever hear anybody being like, is that bigotry or no? Is that a race thing?
It can be.
Can it be
bigotry? Has
is like
too many different
but
forms.
Just people being douchebags.
Yeah,
that's a better word for me. No, that
No.
you okay. That's
When I first started transitioning, there was a lot of slip ups.
Yeah.
And I gave that to them, you know. But when I came back home with my family, I let my cousins for like one holiday slip, and then I said, after this, it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
My grandparents though slip a lot. They did.
Sure.
You know, but they're like, my grandpa was in his 90s.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and my grandma, and you know, I have to remember it was because of his time, how he was raised. You know, this is something completely different. And he would have his moments where we would talk, and he'd be like, hey, go get him a cup of something, you know, pointing to my grandma, go get him a cup of something, you know. And so he'd have these moments where he was really trying.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get mad or upset, because he didn't have to, you know, but he did. He was really trying.
He was trying, and that meant a lot.
That meant a lot. My mom occasionally, and I'll look at her, like I give her the death look, and she's like, I'm so sorry. And
well, of all the people,
right.
Your mom's going to slip up.
Right.
I mean, she had you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right.
She gave
Well,
birth to
and
you.
she, you know, she's done so well. Like I found a baby picture. I have my old birth certificate.
Okay.
And I was like, do you want these things? And she's like, why are you asking me if I want them? I said, well, okay, I'm your firstborn. You know, I was your little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know, do you want, she's like, no, I have a son.
That's awesome.
You know, and so she left it, because everything's changed. You know, once you go through all of your counseling and your surgery, like my birth certificate, it's like my original one never existed.
Okay.
Everything is sealed. The state of Michigan is amazing in that. So I got a new one.
So when you say sealed, like no one could look it up.
No one could ever look it up.
Yep.
No one would ever know.
Adoption records are sealed as well.
Same thing.
Yeah. Like my birth father, like if he wouldn't have known, if he went to go down and look, he would have had a problem, because they would have been like, I don't have anything with those names.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who?
Yeah, like who did you have? You know, what was your child's name? Like we have nothing. So,
Do you your birth dad? Do you talk to him?
last time I talked to him was 2 years ago.
Okay.
How'd that go?
I guess not well. The last time we talked to him was 2 years ago.
So he left when I was 3, almost 4. He's an alcoholic. I still have nightmares till this day
Oh, man.
from when I would see him, because he would leave me with whatever girlfriend of the month, year.
Flavor of the week.
Yep. Come home, pissed drunk, and beat them in front of me until the last one grabbed me. No coat, no shoes, no socks. Put me in the car and took me home to my mom as he was running down the street yelling at the car. Like, I have a nightmare of that probably at least once a week.
Wow.
Of that. Showed back up in 5th grade, the day before my birthday. This is why I hate birthdays. I thought I got in trouble. I was kind of a bully in elementary school, so I thought I was getting in trouble.
Sure.
I get pulled in this room, and there's a man and a woman. I don't know who they are, and she's like, "You know who this guy is?" And I'm like, "I have no clue." Like,
Never seen him in my life.
like it's your dad, and I was like, "I'm not supposed to see
At
him."
school.
Yeah, at school.
Oh.
And I was forced to stay in the room.
That is
and,
not okay.
It ended with me warming up.
Sure.
Because everybody, when you're little, you know.
It's dad.
It's still your dad.
Yeah.
You as a kid, I feel like they have that unconditional love. I mean, to a certain point, but you're just like, okay, my dad. It's cool.
1 year, I'm locked in a room for 2 hours with him. Of course, I'm going to warm up,
Right.
I can't leave. And he was like, tomorrow's your birthday. What do you want for lunch? I'm going to come spend lunch with you. And I was so excited, ran home after school because I walked, a couple blocks from school. My mom was so upset that the school let him. And
Yeah, that was a big fail.
She was going to call and say no, but she could see how excited I was. And she was like, okay, I'll let you see him. My birthday came. He never showed up.
Oh, man.
And then 9th grade, I saw him again for a wake. My great-grandmother on that side passed away. And I had just got into connection with my uncles on that side of the family. So I was spending time with them and getting to know them. And so they took me and he showed up and he raved to everybody about how awesome his kid was and how smart they were. And I felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then he
You
dipped
don't
out
even
again.
know me.
Right. I'm like, he doesn't even know me. Then he dipped out again. And then when I was 19, I found him.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to have some type
So
of relationship.
You went looking for him.
I did.
Okay.
Because I had 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get to know them.
Sure.
And he was very religious then. He apparently found a new, turned over a new leaf. And, but he was still an alcoholic. And I saw him maybe twice. And then I got a call from his wife, was like, "You're his oldest. Will you please go talk to him? I'm going to leave him and take your sisters."
Wow.
Because he's drinking. And I walked in and he was so drunk. And he was like, I go, "You got to give this up. Like, you lost out on time with me. You still have time with them."
Yeah. Seriously.
And he goes, "I'll make you a deal." So this was before I transitioned. "I'll make you a deal. You give up what you love and I'll give up drinking." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "You give up your lifestyle and I'll stop drinking." So I slowly
Here's
started.
the 6-pack.
Yeah, so I slowly started backing up, and I said, "You know what? My mom did a damn good job raising me,
Yeah.
and I don't need you."
Right.
I said, "So if you want to drink and lose out on the girls, that's on you.
Yeah.
But I don't need you. I came here because she asked me, and I like her and I respect her.
Right.
And I did this for my sisters." And I said, "Bye." And I left, and I could just hear him screaming as I shut his apartment door. I exited the building. I could still hear him screaming at me. And I didn't turn a leaf. And then I talked to him like 2 years ago because I found my sister. She looked for me.
Wow.
One day I was sitting there and I was unpacking stuff and I saw something old that had like my old name. And I was like, I wonder if my sisters ever like look for me because they'd never be able to find me.
Yeah.
So I found her on Facebook, social media.
Yeah.
Facebook.
And I sent her a message and she was like, "I have looked for you. Like, I've looked and looked and looked and could not find you."
Was she aware that you had transitioned?
No.
Oh, man.
So we went through it all and I ended up going down and meeting her and she still talks to my birth dad. So she told him, she's like, "Do you mind if I tell him that I found you?" And I said, "Go ahead. I don't care." I think that day when I walked out and I left, I took all the power that he had of me and I got the closure that I needed.
Yeah.
And then it was Christmas time. He's not a U.S. citizen. He got deported because he drank one night and destroyed a city, property in a city. So they were like, "You're out.
Bye-bye.
He can't come back unless he gets a sponsorship." And he goes, "Since you're my oldest, he's sitting there talking to me. He's like, "I don't drink anymore." And I'm like, "Okay." And all of a sudden I see, the old brown 40 bottles?
Yeah.
The malt liquor. I see him lift it up and he's drinking.
I
and I'm
don't
like,
drink anymore.
"I thought you don't drink anymore." And he's
It's
like,
water.
He's like, "Well, it's my day off. I only have like 2 on my day off." And I was like, "Okay."
2 40s.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like,
Jeez.
"Okay." And I'm just sitting there and I'm just shaking my head.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
then he goes, So I want to come back. And you're my oldest. So as my oldest, it's your job to sponsor me. Your mom kept you. And I said, you know what? Don't talk about my mom. My mom is off limits to you.
Yeah.
I said, she did what she needed to do to protect me. And I know why she protected me from you.
Yeah.
I said, and number 2, I don't owe you anything. I said, I've got my kids. I've got my own life. And I don't want the responsibility to watch over you. Well, can you help your sister then fill out the paperwork? And because she was on board, she was going to do it. And I explained to her, I go, Hannah, you don't want to be responsible for him.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
You and your fiance are starting your life. You have a wedding coming up. I know you want him there, but do you want to be held accountable for him financially?
Yeah.
Legally? And she was like, I don't.
Yeah, what a responsibility.
I had to explain it to her. He could go out and make a mess of things because that's what he's done his whole life. And then you're going to have to financially take on all of that.
Yeah, no thanks.
And so I haven't heard from him since I said no.
And she didn't do it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Good for her.
I don't know if she still talks to him, but he said he would contact me, and I was just like, okay.
Where did he get deported to? Where's he from?
Mexico.
Oh, Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know what ethnicity you are. I thought you were Latino.
Hispanic, yeah. Mexican.
Yeah.
And Indian and German.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And we all are.
It's
Yeah.
true.
You ever want to do that ancestry? You hear those damn ads all the time, and I'm like, I want to do it. You don't want to do it?
No. Because I know, my mom, her mom was an American Indian.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather's side, they're from Germany. So, I have
Your mom's American Indian?
she's part, her mom, her
Wow.
mom's
Mom.
family, yeah.
Okay. So what part Indian are you then?
Like 25%?
Do you get money then?
No.
Do you have to have more?
I don't know. I think you have to have some connection or something. I don't know.
No, I think 25% would qualify.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know really anything.
No wonder you do so good at the casino.
Yeah, when
Awesome.
Falca say I'm stealing their money.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Maybe I'm stealing my own money. I don't know.
There you go.
That's you do. I seriously, we need to go down to the casino together because every time you go down there, you walk away with like $500
Big
to
winner.
$1,000.
Yeah, it was crazy. I have to have a feel. I don't know. It's something my best friend and I did. Like he enjoyed the casino, and he just had fun. The people that rub the machine and tell them they love it, and he got into that. So if I'm having a bad vibe, I just stay away,
There
Yeah.
you go.
and if I'm feeling it, I'll stop. So I was feeling it the other day, and
So you played the penny? Did you put a whole $20 bill in the
Yeah.
penny slots?
yeah,
So that's the way to do it, right?
yeah.
Not
and
put
then
like
I play.
a penny in on the
No, I
side.
pay max bet, and I do
Crazy.
pretty well. Or I walk by a machine and I look at it, and then I'll keep walking, and then I look back at it, and I'm like,
You kind of are the karma guy. Like
I'm
you
like-
just kind of like
yeah, I'm like,
you're looking
no.
sexy tonight.
I'm like, I feel like that machine's talking to me, and then I go over and it's like ding 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 ding, ding, and I'm like, okay,
That works.
so
So I want to bring us back to something that you said earlier in the show. And it's something that I have put a lot of thought into as well. And that would be your statement about blood family and what family is and what makes a family. Personally, and this is something that I've had to reconcile as a dad to adoptive kids that were born to other parents. I've had to come to a place in my life where I said, yes, it would have been better for those kids to be raised in their family of origin. Bottom line, I feel like that's what is intended in life. But things don't always go that way. So I see it as, yes, while that is very much true, every child should be with their birth family, it's not always an option, and that's where I come in. And for a while, I would just get so angry and have such a very negative view of the birth parents and the birth families, and just really thinking derogatory thoughts about them, really. Like, how could you do this to your kids? And there still is that. But I feel like I've had to come to a point in my life where at least I have a level of respect to say, yes, they should have originally stayed with you. Should your circumstances have been different, they should have been with you. And getting to that point and saying that was huge for me. So I was just wondering, you mentioned a few times what makes a family, etc. What's your take on that? Do you feel like a kid's ideal spot, for lack of a better term, is with birth family?
I don't. And the only reason I don't is because look at all the kids that are born that are placed immediately up for adoption.
That is true, yeah.
You know, people have babies and, you know, they leave them in a basket outside a fire station.
Yeah.
You know, and you have two parents who raise them, you know, and that's why I said, but look at my father, like, you know, that's my birth dad, that's my blood, but he was the worst.
POS.
Yeah, he was the worst person that could have been in my life.
Sure.
You know, and I think about that, like my mom, you know, she busted her ass to do what she did for my brother and I. And then what if my father would have been around? How would my life
be different?
My life would be so different.
It would.
You know, just like, you know, my daughter, and that's why I teach her that, because blood always doesn't, you know, it unfortunately, it doesn't always mean in the terms of, you know, blood is, you know, that's your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're related
Biologically.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that they're your family. You know, what's the definition of family when you dissect it and you break it down? What is the definition of family? Is
this a rhetorical question?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. What do you think the definition of family is?
I have always said that family is the individuals in your life that you would do anything for.
Right. Has nothing to do with blood or biologically. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always say family is what you make of it. Just because there's so many families are created differently, you know. You could have a couple that couldn't have kids who get a donor and a surrogate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get a couple that can't have kids naturally, so we adopt.
Right. You know, and they make their own family.
And I love my family. We have our challenges. Absolutely. And people see my son and I, like we've been hanging out all week. It's been a blast. And they just automatically assume that he's biologically mine. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not going to correct you, but obviously it's different with a black daughter. But
that's not happening.
Right. But, you know, but at the end of the day, how I think about it is it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah. But it does. And it shouldn't. I'm just talking for myself.
Right. It does for you, but it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because what did my daughter say? This is the best way. She said, "You're here every day teaching me about life and preparing me." You shouldn't use those words, but, you know, teaching me about life, Dad. You're showing me things, how to do things, so I'm molding this young mind for all of these different things in life. You know, I'm parenting her. I'm showing her the yes and the no's and the do's and the don'ts and how to have integrity and respect and manners. You know, you're doing that every day, Ben. You know, like biologically, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you're there every day, every morning, every night. Bumps, bruises, cuts, you know, bad days at school, holidays. You're going to be there, you know, for important days, weddings, grandchildren.
Yep.
You know, that is yours. And that's one thing you have to remember. That's, you know, you're going to have those memories and your kids are going to make those memories and you're going to be around for them. So you're their parent, you're their dad.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
You know, I feel like sometimes you sell yourself short.
He does.
And I
tell him all the time, I'm like, you've saved those kids' lives.
Right.
He's like, he's,
do I make that noise?
right. But then anything else, if he does something on the podcast, he's like, yeah, I did this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, well,
do I talk with that lisp?
Yes.
And I think that's just social barriers
Yeah.
because, you know, your daughter is black and then so what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Who cares? You know, my granddaughter is beautiful skin tone, because my son's white and her mom is black. But it just, if you saw the, if you didn't know the story, you'd be like, when she was born, her mom was just like, my baby's so white, because my son is so white. But she's still her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes I know, like I think you try and you think about it too much.
I get in my head a lot.
You get in your head and you just have to take it for what it is. Like you're there every day, you and your wife.
Yeah.
When your kids graduate or they get married, their parents that are sitting there, who is that? That's you guys.
Absolutely.
So, it's just like, I think my daughter, that's why she told me, you don't have to explain the story. You're my dad.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want me to take away the value of that connection that we have.
There's no need to explain it away. It
Right.
is what it is
Right.
at the end of the day.
It's like the 21st century. Like, there's so many blended families nowadays.
I mean, we're blended.
Right.
Megan and our two youngest, and then Nolte and stuff. So, I mean, and my mom was crazy, so blood doesn't mean shit.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
So,
and even like, more and more kids are getting adopted, and you're seeing, more of the mix, and, people don't think about it, I think, as much as you think that they think about it, Ben, when they
Yeah.
see you. I think that's just your own block that you're putting up.
I have to say, though, yes, that is true. I would say 90% of the time. The 10% where I am being judged, and I know I'm being judged, is when I am in predominantly black settings.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get judged up and down.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can see
Our
that.
daughter has to have her hair done if we're going to be out in that setting. Because if her hair is looking all nappy and not put together, we're going to get it from,
Right.
and rightfully so. We've chosen to bring this girl with her culture and her background into our family. We owe it to her and to her culture to honor that.
Right. Yeah.
So, yes, 90% of the time it's all in my head, and I just got to get over it. But the 10% is brutal.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, it's it's one of those things, like growing up, it would always be, if I saw like a biracial family, I'd be like, well, that's weird. But now I'm just like, I mean, not just because of Ben, it's just, I've been like, whatever. I mean, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Well, it's like like I said, my grandpa was he was so weird. He hit this point in his 80s where he was more open, and he was like talking about Obama, and he was just like, I voted for him, and I was just like, what?
No way.
And then when he started losing his mind, he's kind of reverted back 50 years.
Okay.
But I remember when I came out to him, and I will always hold this. He said, 10, 15 years ago, you never would have seen a black man and a white woman walking down the street together. But everybody deserves love.
Aw.
And that's how he broke the ice between him and I. So I always go back to that. Yes, back then things were a lot different,
Yeah.
but now every day it's changing, dynamics are changing. So
This is such a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine you growing up 100 years ago?
no,
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
no.
I mean, everyone says, "Oh, the times are so terrible right now." I think it's the best time we've ever lived in. I mean, with being accepting everyone, and I don't know. I just think it is.
I think more people are open to being educated. Like,
Yes.
that's the one thing I found in my transition is it's not, yes, it is what sometimes you're taught, but it's misconceptions or things that they've been taught and heard, and they haven't been educated.
Correct.
And it takes somebody like that's the one thing in Texas. I said, ask me. I won't get offended. Even now, I'm like, ask me. The more you know, the more you're informed, the
Right.
better educated you are, then you know.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with race or families. People go back to what they've been taught or told and how it should be and it shouldn't be, and and not getting educated. Like, oh, I've heard somebody say, oh, that that family, they think they're rich, that white family, they adopt that, they're saving them, or
Yeah. White saviorism is definitely a real thing.
right. And I'm just like, yeah, but you can see the Bob was reading an article, and these people, they love the kids. It wasn't about money or
Right.
You could see the genuine love,
Yeah.
the connection there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't understand racism. I mean, I kind of grew up that way, but now I look at it and go, this is the dumbest thing. Yeah, there's cultural differences. Yeah, I get it. But
we all bleed red if we fall
Right.
down and cut ourselves.
right. It's just I don't understand it. And in fact, I had to bring this up about race. I was on the Nextdoor app. This is so random. Not really, but so there was like white supremacist pamphlets being passed out in Granville last night. I'm just like, I know that still goes on, but like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even understand that.
Well, people are afraid of change.
Yeah.
They're afraid of change, and they're afraid of opening up. They go back to how it used to be.
Yeah.
It's a comfort thing, what they were taught.
Yep.
Although my grandma, when she died, she still was saying colored. I'm like, Grandma, you can't say that anymore. Like, what are you doing? I know you grew up in the Great Depression, but
Was it like my grandfather? He would joke. He'd be like, "The only holiday anybody should have off is Hitler's birthday," because he was German,
Which is 420.
right?
it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he would
bringing
laugh.
it all around.
Yep. He would thought he was being funny, but I'm like, Grandpa, you can't say those
Yeah.
types of things.
No kidding.
But that was how they were born. They were raised. So
Real quick, one of our super fans, Tim, says, Ben, do you think it is different having a black daughter than it would be having a black son? When I'm out with my grandson, I don't notice any judgment, even in the African American community.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I think the expectations in black culture, I think there's very high. I have such a long answer. I don't even know how to shorten it, but I think it is different, Tim. And I could get into it, but that's for a different podcast.
And Tim, stop saying the African American community. I ride and die on this because, like, when you talk to people, they're like, "No, I'm black. Like, I didn't come from Africa. Like, I'm an American, just like you." I'm like, "Hell yeah, you are."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that. I think I even fall into it sometimes. So I'm just like, come on.
Yep. I have a black daughter.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I even correct him sometimes.
So awesome. Well, we're going to start wrapping this up. One final closing question. What are your views on therapy, like seeing counselor? Do you have a counselor, or was that a thing in your life?
for my transition, it was a requirement.
Yeah.
So every day,
Wow.
or every week,
Okay.
religiously.
Okay.
I went every week. My daughter, I have her in it.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe in therapy. I think it's really good. I want to get back into therapy. I really do. My best friend passed away. October will be 4 years. And I really struggle with that.
Sure. I can imagine.
He's my best friend. Like,
Yeah.
we went through so much, and I'm getting to a point where I know I need to, and I think I'm ready. I think for the longest time I was waiting for him to come back from some trip to tell me
Sure.
about this amazing, trip he was on,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to let go.
Yeah.
Well, we always say if you're not ready, don't go because it's not
It's
going
not
to
gonna
work.
help.
Right. 'Cause I tried, when it happened, I tried last spring. I tried to go.
Yeah.
And I struggle with it a lot because I feel like there's things that I want to talk about, even over the years. And the therapist is like, "Are you getting enough sleep? What are you eating?" Like, I've had those types of therapists, like, your health. And they're like, "That's a good," and I'm like, "Lady, I don't want to talk about what I'm eating
Right.
or what I'm, if I'm
Yeah, let's go a
exercising.
little
Like,
deeper
I
here.
have some other things I want to talk to you about." And you always want to start the session off with, "Am I getting enough sleep?" And I got up and walked out.
That's probably not the right one for you.
Right. Right. But I do. I firmly believe in therapy. Like, there's such a bad view on mental health.
I know.
That's why one of the
that's-
reasons why we started doing this was to combat that.
Yeah. It's,
So we always push therapy on everyone.
I'm a firm, my ex-wife, it was a big thing, mental health.
Yeah.
And seeing every day what it did to her life, it really makes you aware of it.
Sure.
Like, we're so quick to judge people and what they're going through, and we don't put ourselves in their shoes of, you know, how hard it is. Like, we're like, hey, we got up and we did this and we got dressed and we showered and we went out and did this. And there's people that suffer with it, depression, anxiety, that it takes everything for them just to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And we don't understand that. You won't ever understand that unless you're in their shoes.
Right.
So I think therapy is an amazing thing. It's helped my daughter. Her therapist is amazing. I even go in some sessions with her and, you know, we talk, because there's times where I'm like, I feel like I'm questioning everything that I'm doing because I want to make sure that it's the best for her.
Yeah.
And she gives me like a little talk and she'll give me these, you know, okay, let's do this. She never gives me advice. She just asks these questions, and she has a way of asking them where you're just like, why didn't I think of that?
That's what they're
That's
good
what
at.
it's for.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hate my therapist because I want her to say the answer, and she won't. I'm like, son of a bitch. Just tell me what to do. Like, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Like, give me a task, and I'll do it. And she's like, no, you need to figure this out on your own.
Well, I think a lot of that comes down to is we're all afraid to fail. And what if we make the bad choice? So we're like, hey, we have this professional here.
Yeah.
Why can't they tell us what to do? When in regards, we need to make that choice and take ownership for the decision.
We are the expert on our lives.
Yeah.
They're just there to guide us.
I mean,
to
and
what
she
we-
definitely pushes me towards
sure.
that direction.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I said something completely off the wall, she'd be like, I'm not sure that's a good choice. Like,
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, no, I hands down, I believe in it. I think there
Awesome.
should be not more attention, but I think it should be something that more people talk about.
For sure.
Because, like you know, in the beginning when you're talking about it, we all struggle with life. We're all going through it, and if we just deal with it on our own and never talk about it to anybody, eventually you're gonna melt down, or you're gonna become a very jaded, cold person. So I think everyone needs that, and you'll feel better. Like, there's times where I've told him about my life, and then I just take a moment. I'm like, oh, it felt so good to say all of that.
Right?
Yeah, he'll say, I'm just going to vent. And then,
And I'm like,
Let it
sorry,
roll.
that was long-winded. So
you become almost like the pastor of the rideshare area. All
I
these
know.
drivers talking to you.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm crazier than all of y'all.
well, and I don't even know how it all started. Like, we just started talking about like our lives, and then
Yeah.
we vent about things. And I'm not gonna lie, like, at first when I met Jason, I'm like, oh, it's this, you know, it's this probably this Granville judgmental guy, you know, and that's my own fault.
No.
Because I'm thinking, okay, you know, and then I got to know Jason, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, Jason's a really nice guy. Like, you know, if you only knew him from the group in the comments, you'd be like,
Yeah, because I
"Man."
run my mouth
You're
so
like,
much.
man, that
He's
guy's
such a
a
dick.
prick, man.
Yeah.
You know, but when you actually get to know him, you know, and that's why I said, yeah, he's really cool. I like talking to him.
Yeah.
You know, we joke and we talk crap to each other.
Well, that's why I don't get it too hot in the big group, because not everyone knows the relationship, and
Yeah.
that's why I do it in the smaller group.
Yes.
Well, that's why, like, when people say, you know, they called me a dick like 2 times in a row in one day, I was just like, you guys don't even know. Like, you hurt my feelings. Like, I'm not a dick. And then I joke about it, but it does, like, you know, I think I'm a stand-up guy, try and do the best. And, you know, if somebody needs something,
You're too nice.
yeah, I am.
You're too nice.
I am too nice.
Am I too nice?
No, you're kind of a snark ass.
Good.
Yeah, you're.
That's the way I
Well,
like
you-
he is nice, not to me.
I would say no, because there was that one, the run-on sentence. Did you see his comment on LC's post? You couldn't understand it, and he got on.
Oh, yeah,
and he
yeah.
wrote his own paragraph of run-on sentence, and I was. Just
I need
like,
to read it.
Well, I'm telling you, it's so hard now that we're kind of building this little brand to get on there and not be snarky. Because I used to be a complete D-bag on there too, and I'm like,
I just threw it out the window. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going for
but
it.
you weren't disrespectful.
No,
You
I
were
was
just.
imitating her writing.
Well, that's the thing. I want to pull. If I see her again, I'm going to pull her aside. It said, "Liberty, fix your posts. It makes you sound like dumb, and I'm sure you're not dumb. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you can do if you're gonna do the talk to text, because I do it all the time when I'm driving. But I'm like, hey, Jason, period. hey, how's it going? Or
Yeah. Not.
And then what's the big thing before you hit send? You do have to review it before
Right.
you hit
Yes.
send. She's just like, blah, blah, send. And it's not just her.
It's
You're like
so
that.
bad.
Oh, I mean, it's not just her, but a lot of people do that. I'm just like, in the bigger groups, I'm just like, you guys, I get it, but I can't understand what you're saying. But anyways.
Yeah. All right.
Did
well,
you find it?
No, I can't find it. I'm not going to spend all that time, but it was hilarious.
it was. I was like, ooh, Ben's being a jerk.
I have a really snarky side that comes out occasionally. Sometimes
tough.
too often with Jason.
That's why I want to do like a voice message. So, because I'll read something from him on an actual text. I'll be like,
Is he being
an
snarky?
a-hole or what? Send me a voice message, please.
So,
Well, there's times I do that to you, even on voice. You'll say, and I'll say something, and you're like, Gabe, you know I'm joking, right? And I'm like, yeah.
Well, we're friends, but we're still like, I'm like, ooh, did I piss him off? And I'm like, if you piss me off, like this, so everyone can
so.
hear, please tell me if I piss you off, because I want to know so I can fix it. That's one thing. I might piss people off, but if I know, I'm going to fix it.
yeah,
So-
I've seen that.
I try.
Oh, and as far as counseling goes, last time we sat down here, you asked me point blank if I had been seeing my therapist.
Yes.
And in the midst of all the chaos of life and everything that was happening, no, I was not seeing. I did not
Yeah,
see
that's
him.
not breaking news. You said that already.
I know, but here's the breaking news. Tomorrow at 2, I have my next appointment.
Well, good. You know,
So-
your wife reached out and said, thanks for bugging Bet about therapy.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
I think that we get so busy with
Winner,
life
winner, chicken dinner.
that we forget about, our own mental health, and we think we're fine, but we need those.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad. Like, I just hit a point where I was being irrational and impulsive. I saw an ad for kayaks.
He went and bought more tonight, by the way. So this is a 2-week irrational thing.
Today's purchase was approved by my wife.
So that initial purchase was irrational. You're like, I'm getting it.
Yeah. I saw the ad on
What are you,
Facebook.
me?
I had been talking with Andy about it. Like we talked about it, but we didn't put it in the budget.
Right.
That $300 was earmarked for other things. And I kind of made things a little wonky by doing that. And so I'm driving home, talking to Jason, of course. And then I'm just starting to think, I have 2 kayaks on top of my car that I really didn't have the money for, but I got them anyway. Like, something's not right here. I usually think things through a little bit better. And I was like, all right, I need some help.
Well, yeah, you had that 2 weeks of craziness, and then without having someone to lean on, like your therapist, and
Yeah.
you're just like,
Just
Okay.
kind of freak out.
See, and I do it with work, where you guys will be like, Gabe, do you ever sleep? Are you? And it's because I just, instead of taking a moment for myself, I just throw myself into work.
yeah.
That's how I deal. My irrational side is working
Well,
hardcore.
I guess that's better than spending money, Ben.
Right? Yeah. After that night and telling Andy that I just went out and bought 2 kayaks, she's like, you what? It's like, yeah. So that's kind of the moment that I was like, all right, fine. I need to go get help.
Well, I'm glad you are. So just kind of to wrap it up, what would you want to say to like our listeners? Like if someone was listening that was thinking or dealing with transgender, I don't want to say issues, but dealing with the
Struggling
feelings.
coming out.
Yeah, coming out. Like that's kind of why I wanted you to come on. Not that we have this huge audience, but I think more people need to have conversations like this. Say, it's okay.
It's okay, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that I don't think people realize how hard it is
No.
to come out.
Yeah, we don't.
And I was fortunate. I had a great mom.
Yeah, you sound like you had a good.
I had a great mom. I have friends that have come out and they've lost their family.
Yeah.
They have no family. And it breaks my heart, because the way I look at it is you're choosing to do something that's out of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal for you.
Yeah, but
you're trying to live your life authentically.
yeah.
And I went back and forth and I struggled because I'm like, do I want my life? Like, I'm going to be judged. I could be persecuted. You know, I can lose friends. I could lose family. I could have, you know, lose my job. I could, all of this stuff. And it was like, do I continue to be miserable in life?
Yeah.
And depressed? Or do I just jump 2 feet in and run?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is you're not alone. There's people out there that will love you for you, and will accept you. And do you want people around that, even at your weakest moment when you need them, that's going to turn their back on you? Or, you know, do you want to be around people that will be there to support you?
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest thing. You know, I have people, I didn't think my transition helped people, but I've had people on my Facebook randomly message me and they say, Gabe, I have so much respect for you. Like, you've helped me so much just with your transition. Because I used to do videos. I used to do YouTube videos of my transition to show my progress.
Oh, wow.
And I would post them. And, you know, people were like, you don't realize how much you helped me.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't think about it because I'm just living myself. I'm just being myself.
Yeah, that's one thing that I notice about you. You don't hang your hat on that part of it. You're like, okay, like this is what I am. I know like, there's not activists out there, but there are people that you know that you're like, okay, we get it. You're gay.
Right.
We got it. We got it. Like,
pride flag on everything.
And that's fine. It's good to be prideful of that stuff, but they hang their hat on it. You're just like, this is my life. I'm doing my thing. You know.
Well, and that's why I live a very stealth life. And I wish that I think that's kind of my own. I don't want to say I'm uncomfortable. I know my thin line of people that are judgmental, and that say stuff, and I know that I'll not snap on them, but I will snap on them and say, you know, who do you think you are? And I'll read them up and down.
Right.
And so that's why I kind of just keep to myself, because at the end of the day, a writer said this to me: you die twice in life. You die when you actually die.
Yeah.
And then you die when the last person who knows about you dies. Because they will carry on stories, people that knew you. And I just
that is some deep shit.
Real deep.
I had to really think about it.
Right. And that's why I just live my life, because I want people to know me as, you know, that guy who was nice and great.
Hard worker.
You know, loved his family, and continue on with that. So.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was deep, though. It hit me. I was giving a ride and I just stopped.
Well, it was like 2 seconds. I was like, oh, wow, that is deep.
Truth bomb.
Yeah.
Well, Gabe, thank you so much. I hope you felt comfortable here. And I mean, again,
it was better than what I thought, because at first I was like, oh my God, how am I going to bring this up to Ben?
Well, you know, we actually talked beforehand. I was like, do you want me to talk to Ben about before? And he's like, nah. I was like, all right.
I was like, nah, let's go for shock factor.
Ben, he
takes a lot to rattle me. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for having the courage to tell me. And like I said earlier, it doesn't change a thing in how I see you. You are Gabe.
Right. Well,
you good?
I think I got a better response out of you when I told you.
I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I had no idea. So, which is good. I mean, even if I did, who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean? But thank you very much.
Seriously, Gabe, we're so grateful that you took the time to be here with us. And of course, thank you to all of our listeners for joining us on this episode. We look forward to having you tune in again soon.